of the selling price. This is the main motive of the cost accountancy or costing nu record करने करन the main purpose is this. There are many cost accounting standards given by the Institutes of Cost Accountant of India. We apply these standards and principles so that cost should be recorded in a formal manner or an appropriate manner. There are predetermined bases ਜਿਹਦੇ through ਆਪਾਂ cost ਨੂੰ ascertain ਕਰਕੇ cost ਨੂੰ allocate ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ and portion ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. Now we will learn these, what is cost allocation, what is a cost center. In today's class, we will discuss these terms. So let's start with our first topic, that is the cost object. We have already covered what is a cost means. Cost means whether actual or notional कोई भी खर्चा incurred होया है किदे ਲਈ प्रोडक्ट ਨੂੰ ਮੈਨੂਫੈਕਚਰ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਨੂੰ render ਕਰਨ ਲਈ. That is the cost. And what is a cost object means? We will learn. Before we start with a cost object, we will learn about the paper making process. First of all, ਆਪਾਂ discuss ਕਰਾਂਗੇ एक product ਆਪਾਂ ਲਿਆ, that is the paper. Paper, the raw material is, yes please anyone unmute and let me know. Raw material of paper is
Ma'am, chemical, wood.
wood. Very nice. Chemical, bamboo. These are the raw materials for the paper industry, paper for making the paper. See, basically paper ਨੂੰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਲਈ we use the raw material, that is wood. Wood, how we procure the wood? We procure the wood from the forest. Forest department is under the government. ਸਾਨੂੰ allocate ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ forest department, ਉਹਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ royalty ਵੀ pay ਕਰਨੀ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਹੈ. Raw material cost is approximately, I earlier told you, 75 to 80% of the total cost. ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਸ raw material cost ਨੂੰ procure ਕਰਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੰਨੀ cost, suppose 2%, 3%, ਜਿੰਨੀ ਕੱਟ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ ਉਹਦਾ ਆਪਾਂ profit ਨੂੰ increase ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ. We get the profits because raw material procurement is the basic thing in you can say any manufacturing industry. ਕੋਈ ਵੀ product ਨੂੰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਲਈ, paper ਨੂੰ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਲਈ wood ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ. wood ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿਧਰੋਂ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਧਰੋਂ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ? From the forest. Forest department, government department all involved ਹੋਣਗੇ. ਅਸੀਂ ਇਨੀ ਏਰੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ extract ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ. wood ਸਾਨੂੰ available ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ cutting rights ਮਿਲਦੇ ਨੇ, ਇਹਦੇ through ਹੀ ਆਪਾਂ you can say wood extract ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ. After this wood ਨੂੰ, this is a raw material, ਮਿਲ ਗਈ. we chipper, we get these wood into the chipper. Chipper means small cut ਕਰਕੇ pieces ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ chipper ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ so that ਉਹਦੇ chips ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ. Then it is a pulp mill. Chemicals ਨਾਲ ਉਸ chipper ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ you can say ਉਸ wood ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ boil ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ. Pulp mill. After this ਉਸ ਜਿਹੜਾ extraction ਨਿਕਲਦਾ ਹੈ, you can say ਜੋ the material extract ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, we get it into the paper machine. Then paper finishing. Paper machine which ਉਹਦੀ you can say steam भी use ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, power भी use ਹੋਏਗੀ, water भी use ਹੋਏਗਾ. These are the utilities. And afterwards paper ਜਿਹੜਾ extract ਹੁੰਦਾ, that is in the yellowish form, ਉਹਦੀ bleaching ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੀ finishing ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ. Then ਉਹ go down ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ. In pulp mill, that is chemical recovery and chemical complex. बहुत सारे chemicals ਨੂੰ use ਕਰਕੇ wood ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਪਾ ਕੇ we get a extraction that is used to make the paper. ਉਹਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਕੈਮੀਕਲਸ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਫॉर ਬਲੀਚਿੰਗ ਵਾਈਟ ਪੋਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਣ ਲਈ ਸੋ ਦੈਟ ਉਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਟਿੰਗ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਇਨ ਗੋ ਡਾਊਨ ਦੈਟ ਸ਼ੁੱਡ ਬੀ ਅਕੋਰਡਿੰਗ ਟੂ ਦੀ ਕਸਟਮਰ ਨੀਡ ਉਹ ਛੋਟਾ ਪੇਪਰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਵੱਡਾ ਪੇਪਰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਮੋਟਾ GSM ਵਾਈਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਦੈਟ ਇਜ਼ GSM ਥਿਕਨੈਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਮੈਂ ਮੇਜ਼ਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ GSM ਪੇਪਰ ਦੀ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ these are the production production related to production cost centers कह सकते हैं इन्हें and these are the service cost centers. We will also study what is a cost center means. These are service cost centers. Production cost centers ਉਹ cost centers ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ directly involved ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ in the production. That is the process of production is known as a different activity or different process or different you can say activity is the production cost center which is related to the production. But what is service cost centers? Service cost centers are those cost centers which are helpful for the helpful in the manufacturing to give services to the production cost centers like maintenance department, water supply department, power and plant department, EFT, effluent treatment plant. Effluent treatment plant is like ਜਿਹੜਾ water extra water extract ਹੁੰਦਾ है from the paper mill chemical वाला ਜਿਹੜਾ गंदा पानी है that is treated by the effluent treatment plant reason being उस chemical वाले water ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ directly river ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁੱਟ ਸਕਦੇ which will give the which will hazard to the environment, which is hazardous to the environment. So, effluent treatment plant is there, जो chemical वाले water ਨੂੰ treat करता है, treat करके ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ use कर सकते हैं for cleaning purpose, for washing purpose, for other things. HR department also supports in giving the employees or timely manpower, right job at the right person at the right job. Next is costing and finance department, जो एक expenses ਨੂੰ record ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ. Quality and research department, purchase and store department. This is the process of the making the paper. So we will study what is a cost object means now. Let's start with cost object. See, cost object is any item for which cost measurement is required. कोई भी item for which cost measurement is required, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ cost ਨੂੰ measure ਕਰਨਾ required ਹੈ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ product ਕੋਈ ਵੀ customer ਕੋਈ ਵੀ service ਕੋਈ ਵੀ sales territory ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ cost object in simple words means ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ product ਨੂੰ suppose we have taken the product that is the paper ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਸਦੀ cost ਨੂੰ measure ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ that is a paper is a cost object. And what is a cost unit means small you can say cost ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ break up ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ for the purpose of breaking up or separating the cost into smaller subdivisions which is attributable to a product or service. That is the cost unit ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ paper ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ measure that is the GSM, that is a cost unit. So cost counting ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆਪਾਂ introduction chapter. Topic is cost object. In simple words, cost object is any item for which cost is measured. You can say any product, any service, any process, activity. Any product, we can say paper. Let's take an example. Coffee. Any product, please, anyone, and any service from your side for which we measure the cost. Any product from your side, please tell me, anyone. Yes, weaving process. Yes, yes, Beyant Kaur.
मैम लीगल कंसल्टेंट हो गया उदी सर्विस होगी
Legal consultant. Okay. Service. Weaving process in textile industry. We can take an example of activity. It is suppose developing a website or any, you can say developing a website is an activity in the company. Any product, that is a paper, coffee, say textile च cloth, service ਦੇ अंदर ਆਪਾਂ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ any hospital sector, education sector. These are the cost object. Clear? Next is the cost unit. We are discussed. Cost unit is the unit of a product or service. कोई भी product दी या service दी unit in relation to which costs are ascertained. For example, hotel industry. Any idea to anyone? How we calculate the cost unit of hotel industry? Suppose ਆਪਾਂ hotel ਜਾਣੇ ਆ hotel ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ charges ਲੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕਿਸ basis ਤੇ ਲੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ that is the cost unit in simple words. Steel industry, yes, anyone? Any idea of hotel industry cost unit? Yes, please. Any idea? Let's गलत भी होए.
Day night per room.
Very nice, Kunal. Per room. Per night.
Person.
Or accordingly on the basis of how many numbers of persons are there. That is a per room or per night basis. Steel industry. Per ton. कितना टन ऑफ स्टील जा रहे हैं मैन्युफैक्चर करना है या सेल करना है स्टील इंडस्ट्री दी कॉस्ट यूनिट समझ आया cost object is the object that is a hotel industry is the cost object cost unit is measure करना है उस cost ਨੂੰ that is the cost unit furniture industry per item of furniture. And last, that is the cost unit. Next, we will go to the car manufacturing particular brand of a car per unit, one car or particular brand of a car ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ you can say relate ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ cigarette manufacturer per packet of cigarette or per piece of cigarette, builder per particular building or particular flat, audit company audit file or chargeable amounts. ठीक है ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ service भी आ गया, that is a service, builder and audit. These are the products. Cost unit of service and cost unit of products. Next is the simple cost unit and the composite cost unit. Simple cost unit apa use kita car manufacturing or builder, that is per flat, per building, per audit file, per chargeable hour. That is a simple cost unit. What is the composite cost unit? Cost unit which nu apa two parts which divide ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, simple and the composite. For example, if a cost of a delivery service are being monitored and controlled by measuring the cost per ton delivered, then ton deliver is not the appropriate cost unit because it would not be valid to compare the simple words which panu samjhaniya. Let's take an example. Simple and composite cost unit किनु कहने हैं. Simple means paper the cost unit up GSM wise कर ले. Hotel industry nu per room wise कर ले. But what is composite cost unit? Composite cost unit ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ two parts divided ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ. Let's take an example of first transport industry. Transport industry ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ? Trucks involved ਨੇ. Trucks ਕੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ? Material. And material ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ? Unit cost unit ਕੀ use ਕਰਾਂਗੇ? Per ton. ਕਿੰਨਾ ton of material trucks ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ? Plus ਕਿੰਨੇ kilometers run ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ? कि from Delhi to Chandigarh, else Delhi to Mumbai. If there are more than one cost unit involved in same industry, that is the composite cost unit. It means एक जगह तो बी जगह जान लई ट्रक जा रहे हैं, मटेरियल लोड हो रहे हैं, कितना मटेरियल जा रहे हैं पर टन और कितने किलोमीटर जा रहे हैं, that is the composite cost unit. So we can say in hospital industry as if transport the second ਆਪਾਂ ਲੈਣੇ ਆ hospital industry. Hospital industry which two parts which divide on that, that is according to number of patients and number of days patient रुकिया. ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ? Composite cost unit is patient days. This is the composite cost unit of hospital industry. Transport industry ਦਾ ਵੀ composite cost unit ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. Transport industry, that is suppose वो material नहीं लेके जा रही, वो की लेके जा रही है? Persons. Persons ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ? नंबर ऑफ पैसेंजर्स, या फिर मटेरियल लेके जा रहे बस है, ट्रक है, लॉरी है, नंबर ऑफ पैसेंजर्स होंगे, द पैसेंजर किलोमीटर is the cost unit. Material है the tons kilometer. That is the transport industry composite cost unit. It is clear? Any doubt to anyone in cost unit and simple cost unit and composite cost unit? If there is any doubt, then please ask. Otherwise, we will start next topic. Any doubt? Say yes or no.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Sure, sure.
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
We have done cost unit, simple and composite cost unit also. So for hotel industry, cost unit is per
Per room. Okay.
per room. For steel industry, it is per.
Ton.
Done.
Very nice. For textile industry, it is textile
ton.
industry which ki hunda hai per.
Meter.
Very
Per meter.
nice. Per meter. And you can say per piece also. Cement industry. Cement ਕਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ?
ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ
Per. Yes, please. Ton भी हो
per
सकता
bucket.
है, per bag. You can say bag, cement bag आंदा है. That is a per bag also. This is the cost unit. Clear? Next, we will take. See, for hospital, it is patient per day. For transport freight, it is ton kilometer. For transport passenger, passenger kilometer. This is the composite cost unit. Next is most an important thing, that is the cost center. What does the cost center means? Cost center is the production or service or location or function or activity or any equipment. कोई भी product, कोई भी service, कोई भी location, function, कोई भी activity or an item of equipment for which we accumulate the cost. Accumulate means we calculate the cost. We collect the cost. That is the cost center. Cost center which we select an entity, we accumulate all cost. You can say it is also a division, a department, a section, a group of plant and machinery, group of employees, or any other. These are the cost centers. मैंने ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ simple terms which भी समझाऊंगी. Cost center कोई भी product हो सकता है, कोई भी process हो सकता है, कोई भी activity हो सकती है, location हो सकता है. For example, let's take an example of this pen manufacturing. Pen manufacturing which different stages है process ਕਰਨ ਲਈ. ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਇੱਕ assembly line ਹੈ. Assembly line which we ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ pen, spring, nib, ink ऐसा assemble हुआ pen. Ink next process होएगा. You can say inking department. सब तो पहले it is assembly department of a pen. Assembly department is also a cost center. We fill the ink. Ink department is also a black pani hai, blue pani hai, red pani hai, green pani hai. That is the depends upon the requirement. Sales के ऊपर depend करता है कि कितनी requirement है किस product की. So every process, every location should be a cost center हो सकती है. Cost center are divided into two parts. You can say there are two types of cost center: personal cost centers and impersonal cost centers. Personal cost center means a person or a group of persons involved in it. That is the person cost center. Suppose, for example, app Google, the Sundar Pichai is the Google CEO. So CEO ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੁੰਦਰ ਪਿਚਾਈ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੈਲਰੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਉਹਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਡਿਸੀਜਨ ਮੇਕਿੰਗ ਪਾਵਰ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਉਹਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰ ਖਰਚੇ ਹੈਗੇ that is the personal cost center because person is involved ਇੱਕ particular person ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਹੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਕੀ ਹੈ dependent ਹੈ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਐਪਲ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਫਾਰਮ ਹੋਈ ਐਪਲ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੀਗਾ CEO ਮੇਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਯੂ ਕੈਨ ਸੇ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਬਣਾਈ ਸੀ that is Steve Jobs he is no more now but Steve Jobs ਸੀਗਾ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਉਹਨੇ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸ ਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਤੱਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ that is a cost center ਕਿ ਉਹ ਪਰਸਨ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਖਰਚੇ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਾਂ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਯੂ ਕੈਨ ਸੇ ਇਨਵੋਲਵਮੈਂਟ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੀ ਸੈਲਰੀ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ that should also be a cost center. We treat person or a group of person as a cost center. Next is the impersonal cost center. Impersonal cost centers are also again divided into two parts, that is the production and service. I have earlier told you, for example, in the paper manufacturing industry, there are two types of cost centers: production and service cost centers. Production, which is directly related to the production of a particular product; service, which help the production cost center, which help in the production. ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਨਾ use you can say labor ਨੂੰ ਦੇਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿੰਨੀ labor ਆਏਗੀ costing the ਜਿੰਨੇ products ਨੇ purchase ਕਿੰਨੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ store department ਕੀ ਕਰੇਗਾ water supply ਕਿੰਨੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ help ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ in production, that is the service cost centers. Next is the responsibility center. It is again a very important term, responsibility center. Responsibility center refers to किसी भी particular segment, unit of product for which a particular manager, employee or department is held responsible. As the name indicates, responsibility. कोई भी department, कोई भी organizational function, कोई भी you can say segment involved होएगा ਉਹਦੀ revenues, ਉਹਦੇ expenses, ਉਹਦੇ fund invested, ਸਾਰਾ ਦਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਖਰਚਾ ਔਰ revenues ਲੈ ਕੇ a particular who is responsible for the particular thing is the responsibility center. Responsibility center are again divided into three parts, that is a cost center, profit center, revenue center. These are very important terminologies. 2 marks the questions पूछे जा सकते हैं. What is the cost center means? What is the profit center means? What is the revenue center means? As we have discussed, under responsibility center, see, कोई भी product manufacture करना है, ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ activity, suppose you can say a pulp mill, chipper ਕੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ? chipper ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ wood ਨੂੰ chips ਵਿੱਚ cutting ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ. That is also a responsibility center because there is a responsibility ਹੈ ਕਿ wood ਨੂੰ cut ਕਰਨਾ. pulp mill ਦੀ responsibility ਹੈ ਕਿ chemicals ਲਗਾ ਕੇ chemicals ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨੂੰ boil ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ wood ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ particular temperature ਤੇ so that ਉਹ convert ਹੋ ਜਾਏ into paper. That is a responsibility of the paper mill. That is a cost center also. Cost center we have discussed two types of cost center: personal cost center, impersonal cost center. Impersonal cost center which production cost center, service cost center. And what is a profit center means? Profit center ਉਹ center ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਜੋ responsible ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ for all the cost and revenue. That is the different कि पूरा ਦਾ पूरा खर्चा revenue एक मेरा अलग तो कर दो, that is the profit center. And what is the revenue center? It is primarily, you can say, marketing department is completely a revenue center, which is help in attaining the sales revenue. after which the performance ਨੂੰ evaluate ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ, that is according to actual revenue attained and the budgeted revenue, that is the revenue cost center. Cost center simple, personal, impersonal. Profit center ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ cost or revenue both involved ਹੁੰਦਾ, revenue ਵਿੱਚ only revenue ਹੁੰਦਾ. Clear? Next is also fourth type is investment center. Investment center ਉਹ center ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ returns on funds invested in group of operations during this time. Invest, पैसा लगाया जिस particular accounts department है या ਉਹ department है ਜਿਹਨੇ पैसा invest ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹ properly ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ. This is a return on funds invested in the group of operations during this time. Investment center. So responsibility center comprises of 4 parts: cost center, profit center, revenue center and investment center. So we will discuss responsibility center comprises of cost center, profit center, revenue center and investment center. Revenue center is any sales department of, you can say, car dealer, car dealership हो सकती है. If we take an example of an investment center, suppose एक group of company है, that is the manufacturing of bikes, ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ involved है. ਉਹਦਾ profit center ਕੀ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਕਿ ਕਿੰਨੀ number of bikes ਵਿਕੀ, you can say ਕਿੰਨਾ revenue generate ਹੋਇਆ number of bikes ਉਹਨੂੰ sale off ਕਰਕੇ. Suppose ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਦ ਬਾਈਕ ਲੈਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਸਕੂਟੀ ਲੈਣ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ EMI option ਵੀ ਦਿੰਦਾ, bank finance option, ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ 2000 rupees per month ਦੀ ਜਾਂ 3000 rupees ਜਿੰਨਾ ਵੀ ਹੈ per month ਦਿਓ and ਬਾਈਕ ਲੈ ਜਾਓ and ਕੁਝ amount ਪਹਿਲੇ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਦੀ EMI ਕਰਾ ਦਿਓ. ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ interest calculation ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, that is also a part of the investment center. A company ਦਾ ਇੱਕ different cost center ਹੈ, number of bikes बनानी, manufacturing करनी, फिर ਉਹਨੂੰ ਵੇਚਣਾ, that is under the cost center, profit center and revenue center. But ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ EMI options ਵੀ ਦੇ ਰਿਹਾ, interest ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ you can say take ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, that is also a part of a profit, that is the investment center. Hope it is clear to you. Difference between cost center, profit center, revenue center and investment center. Clear? So our next topic is cost of production. Before that, we have covered cost center, revenue center, profit center and investment center under responsibility center. Okay, before starting with the cost of production, we will look up at the overhead cost. What does overhead means? Overheads are the expenses, indirect expenses. CAS 1 of Cost Accounting Standards, para 4.21 says the definition of overhead cost, production overhead, selling overhead, admin overhead, distribution overhead, and marketing overhead. We will discuss overhead cost is that expense which is not directly traceable to a product, which is not directly traceable to a product. ਉਹ खर्चा ਜਿਹੜਾ directly traceable नहीं है product ਦੇ. Before that, there are two types of cost. First is the direct cost and second is the indirect cost. Cost is divided into two parts, that is the direct cost and second is the indirect cost. Direct cost is which is directly attributable to a product. You're directly involved in the product. That is the material cost, direct material cost, direct labor cost, and direct expenses. And what are the indirect costs? That is the overheads. Indirect material cost, indirect labor cost, and indirect expenses. Cost is divided into two parts, direct and indirect. Have a look on it. I'll explain to you then. Okay. If we look at the cost of production which both direct and indirect cost involved in the cost of production, as the name indicates, product ਨੂੰ you can say product ਨੂੰ manufacture ਕਰਦੇ time ਜਿਹੜੀ cost involved ਹੋਈ ਸੀ, चाहे वो direct है चाहे वो indirect है, that is the cost of production. We will do deep about the cost of production. Next we will discuss what is the conversion cost. Conversion cost ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ direct wages, direct expenses and indirect expenses ਜਿਹੜੇ use ਹੋਏ ਨੇ converting the raw material to the finished product or converting material from one stage to another is the conversion cost. Conversion cost in simple words, ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਖਰਚਾ product ਨੂੰ convert ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਚਾਹੇ one stage to another ਜਾਂ raw material to finished products, that is the converting the material into finished products, all the cost which is involved is the conversion cost. Basically, direct labor, direct expenses, and production overheads is the conversion cost. Conversion cost in simple words means कोई भी खर्चा, direct खर्चा डायरेक्ट वेजेस, डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस एंड ओवरहेड। कोई भी खर्चा चाहे डायरेक्ट है चाहे इनडायरेक्ट है, यूज होया है कन्वर्ट करन ਲਈ raw material to finished good from one stage to another, that is the conversion cost. What is the overhead cost? Overhead cost in the indirect ਖਰਚਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਟੀਰੀਅਲ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਕਿਉਰ ਕਰਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ, ਮਟੀਰੀਅਲ ਨੂੰ ਕਨਵਰਟ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਕੁਝ ਇਨਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਖਰਚਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ। Indirect material, indirect employee, indirect expenses, these all are the overhead cost. Specifically, overhead costs are divided into 5 parts, that is production, admin, distribution, selling and marketing. कोई भी खर्चा, indirect खर्चा जो production involved in the production of the product या service देने लिए use हुए हैं, that is the production overhead. कोई भी खर्चा admin तो related है, कोई सपोज कोई टूर ते जा रहे हैं, कोई यू कैन से एयर फेयर हो गया, यूज कर रहे ने सेल्स डिपार्टमेंट दे पर्सन, इंसेंटिव्स दे रहे ने, ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ओवरहेड्स एडमिन ਦੇ ਖਰਚੇ ਨੇ। स्टेशनरी हो गई एडमिन दे, होर भी बहुत सारे एक्सपेंसेस होंगे ने, दैट इज द एडमिन एक्सपेंसेस। डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एक्सपेंस ओवरहेड्स आर फ्रेट हो गया, दैट इज द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ओवरहेड एंड अदर हैंडलिंग करते हुए प्रोडक्ट ਨੂੰ या सर्विस देने दे टाइम डिस्पैच एंड डिलीवरी सो दैट कस्टमर तक ਜਿਹੜੀ यूनिट्स हैं और प्रोडक्ट या सर्विस प्रॉपरली टाइमली पहुंच जान, दैट इज अ डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन। वो खर्चे ਜਿਹੜੇ रिलेटेड टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हैगे we take up in the distribution overhead, indirect खर्चे। सेलिंग ओवरहेड्स जो खर्चे रिलेटेड टू सेल ऑफ प्रोडक्ट ने और सर्विस ने इन्वॉल्व ने, इनडायरेक्ट खर्चे सेलिंग ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट, सेल करन दे टाइम प्रोडक्ट या सर्विस नु देन दे टाइम, वो सारे सेलिंग ओवरहेड विच आंदे ने। मार्केटिंग करदे खर्चे, मार्केटिंग विच बैनर्स लगा रहे ने, फ्लेक्स लगा रहे ने, इंसेंटिव्स दे रहे ने, ये सारे मार्केटिंग दे खर्चे ने। These are the overhead cost, you can say production, admin, distribution, marketing and selling overhead. We can say, if we say about the cost accounting standards, there are 24 cost accounting standards and GAP, GACAP, 11 guidance notes are there, which was given by the institute for classification, consistency, uniformity and consistency, like classification, measurement and assignments of cost to product and services. There are 24 cost accounting standards and CAS 1, which all the definitions are there of overheads, production, admin, sari definitions are there in the CAS 1. So, for cost of production, we will discuss afterwards. Now, there are most important 3 terminologies: cost allocation, cost apportionment and cost absorption. Apa samjhange, then we will come to the cost of production. Cost allocation, cost apportionment, cost absorption and under and over absorption of overheads. So come to the topic. What does a cost allocation means? Cost allocation means costs are identifiable directly. जो cost directly identifiable है with a product or service. What does it mean? Directly identifiable. We have taken the example of a paper. Paper ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ wood ਨੂੰ procure करना is cost involved. That comes under purchase department. Wood ਨੂੰ chemical ਨਾਲ treat करना. That is the cost of a pulp mill. Because ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ chemical recovery ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ. That is pulp mill department cost. ਉਹ cost ਜਿਹੜੀ directly this is a cost center, pulp mill. Purchase department is a cost center. ਜਿਹੜੀ cost ਇੱਕ particular cost center ਵਿੱਚ directly identifiable ਹੈ, that is the cost allocation. ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੀ ਪੂਰੀ cost ਚੁੱਕ ਕੇ allocate ਕਰ ਦਾਂਗੇ purchase department ਵਿੱਚ. ਮੈਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਰ deeply example ਲੈਣੀ ਆ. For the purpose of making the cost records, what we do is we take the P&L kharche, expenses of all P&L. Power, team, chemical expenses, marketing expenses. ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ cost centers ਲਗਾਣੇ ਆ. Purchase, paper mill, you can say chipper. पहले chipper आंदा है, फिर paper pulp mill आएगी. Go down, you're finishing, you can say. And other utilities also. Power and steam ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ power department ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ allocate ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗੀ. Steam ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ steam department ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗੀ. Chemical ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ pulp mill ਵਿੱਚ identifiable ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗੀ. Marketing ਵਿੱਚ. This is the process of recording of allocation of cost into the cost centers. These are the cost centers. These are the expenses and incomes, both. Expenses and incomes ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ what we do is allocate ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, which are directly identifiable, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ allocate ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. That is the allocation, cost allocation. And cost ਨੂੰ allocate ਕਰਨ ਲਈ there are, I will take an example. For example, factory rent, suppose 1 lakh. Units, product A ने and units product B ने manufacture कितनी 30,000 units and 20,000 units. Total number of units produced by product A and product B is 50,000 units. Now we have to allocate factory rent between A product and the B product. What we do is we allocate the factory rent on the basis of the particular cost basis. That is the number of units produced by A and B. So what is a cost object Anyone, please let me know what is the cost object in this example. Yes, any idea to anyone? What is the cost object?
Product A and B.
Very nice, Kunal. Product A and product B, because cost object is the ਜਿਹਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਆਪਾਂ cost ਨੂੰ allocate ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, that is the cost object. Paper is the cost object. Pen is the cost object. Product A, product B, cost object. Cost pool, pool ਕਿਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ? ਜਿਸ ਖਰਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ allocate ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, distribute ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, that is the cost pool. What is that kharcha? That is the factory rent, and a term also known as cost driver. What is the cost driver? It means basis, on the basis of which what we do is we allocate the cost. That is the basis. We allocate this factory rent on the basis of number of units produced. Clear to everyone? Now, what is the formula? We use the formula, that is factory rent multiplied by number of units of products divided by total number of units produced. Number of units of product A divided by total number of units produced by A and B. So, for product A and for product B, factory rent is 1 lakh. Multiply by number of units produced by A is 30 and B is 20, divided by total 50,000 and 50,000. Calculate करके दसो मैनू फटाफट कितनी cost आई product A which ਆਪਾਂ कितनी cost ਨੂੰ allocate. Yes, please.
60,000.
Perfect. कितनी?
And 60,000.
Perfect. Balance is 40,000. This is the factory rent allocated in product A and allocated in product B, 60 and 40. This is the cost object, cost pool, cost driver, cost allocation. This is the basic thing of all the, you can say, topics. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ module ਦੇ through revise ਕਰਨਾ. What is the cost allocation means? What is the cost object? What is the cost driver? If you take an example of this thing, you will get all the idea. What is the cost center means? What is the cost pool means? How we allocate the cost. This is a cost allocation in simple words. Clear? Next is the term cost apportionment. And these are very, very, very important terms. ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਗਈ, what is cost allocation, what is cost apportionment, what is cost absorption, literally a interview ਦੇ time, final exams ਦੇ time, ਜਾਂ being a cost accountant ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਣ ਜਾਓਗੇ. ਇਹ terms the clearance ਹੋਣਾ, it is very, very important and mandatory. What is cost apportionment means? ਜੋ ਖਰਚੇ, ਜੋ indirect ਖਰਚੇ which cannot be directly charged to a particular cost centers, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ predetermined basis ਤੇ portion ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, distribute ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. This is the cost apportionment. Let's take an example of cost apportionment. Cost apportionment is that cost which cannot be directly charged to a particular cost center and we distribute among it on the basis of predetermined, which predetermined basis लेना. Let's take an example. What are these predetermined bases? First is the machine hours or labor hours. For machining department, we take machine hours as the basis of apportionment. And in case of labor, we take the labor hours. How many hours labor worked in manufacturing of a particular unit? That is a machine hour and labor hour. If we have to allocate our direct wage cost, we take workers' compensation, contribution to PF. This is the basic we take. Direct wage का खर्चा you have to take worker की कितनी compensation we are providing, कितनी salary या कितनी you can say wages कितनी ने ਉਹਦੇ basis ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ number of workers ਲੈ ਕੇ direct wage ਨੂੰ apportion ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. Third is number of workers. We take the number of basis for medical expenses ਨੂੰ medical expenses ਨੂੰ apportion ਕਰਨ ਲਈ what we take is number of workers या supervision cost ਨੂੰ ਕਿੰਨੇ supervisors ਲੱਗੇ ਨੇ supervision cost ਨੂੰ apportion ਕਰਨ ਲਈ we take number of workers. Fourth is floor area. Floor area we take a number of bases. Suppose this is the factory area and here it is the purchase department and ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ production department ਹੈ. The floor area 1/4 is used as the purchase department, so we take floor area 1/4 cost for the purchase department, not for the production department. This is the floor area basis as apportionment for the rent, rates and taxes, lightning the kharcha, maintenance of building. These are expenses. We take floor area as the basis of the apportionment. Last, we take light point. There are many other, I have taken some examples of the apportionment basis. Light points. Number of light points. If we have to allocate or apportion electricity expenses in the cost centers, we take light points as the basis of apportionment. So, we take surveys, survey method, ability to bear, ऐ सब सिर्फ पढ़न ਲਈ है. Equitable share of common expenses for the cost center and basis should be adopted and reviewed on periodical intervals to improve the accuracy of the apportionment. Allocate करना, which is directly identifiable. Apportion करना on the basis of some predetermined basis among the cost centers on the basis of light points for electricity expenses, rent, maintenance with the help of floor area, and these are other expenses we allocate, we periodically review, and then so that accuracy should be maintained while apportioning the expenses. This is the cost apportionment. Next is the cost absorption. What does a cost absorption means? It means मैं simple words which लिखती हूँ, फिर we try. Cost absorption. It means when the cost is distributed over the final product so that charge is complete. We take percentage of direct material cost, we absorb the cost. We take percentage of direct material cost as a base. We take percentage of direct labor cost. We take percentage of prime cost. We will discuss what is a prime cost means. Fourth is machine hour rate. And fifth is labor hour rate. We take these percentage and we absorb the cost. जो cost बच गई उन्हों ਆਪਾਂ absorb करते हैं. Particular cost center which on the basis of percentage of material cost, percentage of labor cost, percentage of prime cost या machine hour rate या labor hour rate. Cost absorption is the direct material cost plus direct labor cost plus variable manufacturing cost plus fixed manufacturing cost. Formula for cost absorption, ਅਸੀਂ material cost ਨੂੰ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, direct labor cost ਨੂੰ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, variable manufacturing cost and fixed manufacturing cost. This is the cost absorption divided by total cost divided by number of units produced. Total cost divided by number of units produced. This is the formula. So let's take an example. Absorbed cost is that cost which includes both direct and indirect cost. Also include Phillips पूछा जा सकता है, is absorbed cost include both direct and indirect cost? Yes, it also includes energy cost, equipment, rental cost, insurance cost, and property taxes cost. These costs are also included in the absorbed cost. So, cost absorption means that indirect cost or overhead which have to be distributed over the final product so that charge is completed. कोई भी खर्चा बचना नहीं चाहिए on the basis of material cost, चाहे on the basis of percentage of labor cost, percentage of prime cost, in basis थे so that maximum accuracy आ जाए cost नु distribution currently to various production unit. This is the cost absorption. In cost absorption, there are points. Sometimes over absorption हो जाती है cost दी, under absorption हो जाती है. For over absorption and under absorption, we take an example of on page number 24 of your book. ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਨੂੰ clear ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗਾ what is cost absorption, what is you can say under absorption and what is over absorption. Let's take an example. Illustration 1, page number 24. It's 24. Yes. Question number 1 says data for M and Q company for a particular product is as under particulars, machining department, finishing department. पहले question पढ़ के नाल solve करेंगे. Then we will get what is absorption, what is under absorption and what is over absorption. There are estimated data for machining department and finishing department. Production overhead is 3,40,000 and 1,20,000. Machine hours 1,70,000 and 4,200 for finishing department. Direct labor hours 16,500 for machining and finishing के 40,000. Actual results. Production overhead actually कितने incur हुए 3,60,000. होने कितने चाहिए सी 3,40,000. मशीन आवर्स 170 होने चाहिए सी होए कितने 150. मतलब estimated data and actual data is given. It is a company policy to use machine hour rate to absorb production department in the machining department. For finishing department, it is a more labor intensive, so we use labor hour rate. So how will we calculate the absorption cost? As also under absorption is there or over absorption is there. So let's take an example. We will divide it into particulars, machining department and finishing department. For overhead absorption rate, formula is production overhead divided by machine hours or labor hours, whatever is the condition. Machine hours for machining department, labor hour is for finishing department. So absorption rate is, overhead is 3,40,000 and here it is 1,20,000. 3,40,000 and 1,20,000 divided by machine hours. Machine hours are, this is the budgeted data we are taking. Machine hours are 1,70,000 and labor hours are 40,000. 1,70,000 and here it is 1,20,000 divided by 40,000. So here it comes, absorption rate is rupees 2 per machine hour. And here it is rupees 3 per labor hour. This we get the absorption rate, estimated absorption rate. Next, overhead absorbed. Overhead absorbed is machine hour or labor hour multiplied by overhead absorption rate. That is machine hours कितने हुए 1,50,000 actually and labor hours is 44,100. One lakh 50,000 actual into 2, that is the overhead rate. 44,100 multiplied by 3. Answer is 3 lakh and 1,32,300. Actual overhead incurred. Actually, which overhead incurred कितने हुए? Actually, overhead incurred is 3,60,000 and 1,29,400. 3,60,000 and 1,29,400. होने कितने चाहिए सी 3 lakh and 1,32,300. So we will decide under or over absorbed overheads. Under and over absorbed overheads. 6 rupees 60,000 is the overhead difference and this is absorbed overhead is less than actual overhead. Absorbed overhead is 3 lakh, whereas actual is 360. Absorbed is less than the actual. That means it is under absorbed overhead. And in finishing department case, overhead is 1,32,300. Actual 1,29,400. The difference is rupees 2,900. So absorbed overhead is more than actual overhead. So over absorbed. This is the absorption means. This is the absorption means. So we have covered allocation, apportionment, absorption, and under and over absorption of overheads. So in the topics we have covered today, cost center, responsibility center, cost unit, simple and composite cost unit, cost of production, मैं ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਰੋਕਿਆ ਸੀ, conversion cost, overhead cost, cost accounting standards, cost allocation, cost apportionment, cost absorption, under and over absorption of overheads. So basically, we have done cost center, cost allocation, cost absorption, cost apportionment. These